What's up, YouTube? It's TJ, personal trainer, nutritionist, life coach. I'm back at you again with a video about addiction. So today, I want to direct this video to all of you who are either recovering addicts or you're current addicts. And it doesn't matter, drugs, pornography, alcohol, whatever it is you're addicted to. This video is directed for you, and I'm going to speak a little bit about my life and my opinion and theory about getting through addiction. So, to start off, back in high school, I was very hooked on, I just didn't like to be sober, and so I had a lot of issues with drugs, drinking. I also had an issue with porn, so every day for years and years, I struggled with this, with pornography, and everyone has their different opinions on it. That's cool. I'm talking more about the addiction itself, so it doesn't really matter what the substance or whatever it is. It's addiction's addiction. And so for those of you who are watching this, again, it doesn't matter what you're addicted to. It's about getting away from the addiction, because and the reality is addiction just sucks. Addiction, being dependent on something just to live your life like a regular human, but then having to need this substance, this thing, whatever it is you're hooked on, it just sucks. It's not comfortable. It's not good. And we all know we have the potential to progress farther than whatever it is we're addicted to. Most times it's easier just given to the addiction. We have unpleasant emotions or thoughts or whatever it is that lead us to the pain of whatever our life situation is, leads us to going ahead and giving in to these addictions. And so for me, it was a bunch of different things. But anyway, so it got to a certain point where me and the people I loved, we were coming to agreements where I had to learn to quit. I just had to get to a point where I could be able to live without needing a substance, without needing to do such and such, without having to look at something or objectify a woman or whatever it was. And so I had to get to that point where I could live sober, I could live life naturally just as it is, even with the pain. So for those of you guys right now who you're likely, if you're addicted to something, you likely also have a lot of pain. And it does matter to you guys where the pain came from, but in the aspect of addiction, all that really matters is there's the pain of whatever it is you've been through, or whatever you've done to yourself or whatever, and that pain drives you to feed yourself that rush or that high or whatever it is you're looking for. And so for me, I had to get to a point where I just faced the pain or the uncomfortable emotions or whatever it was. I just had to face that. I had to be okay with being sober, being okay with being a guy who just lives life without his rushes, without his highs. And again, there's a difference between, especially chemicals, there's a difference between using certain chemicals like mushrooms every now and then for a spiritual experience, or if you're someone who has a drink every now and then. But if you know deep down in your heart of hearts that you're not addicted, you're not hooked, you're doing it just for the simplicity of doing it, to celebrate or whatever, then cool, good on you. But we're talking about addiction. So with addiction, you feel that pain, you feel that unpleasantness, and then it drives you to go after this rush, this high, this whatever it is that fixes your issue for at least a little bit. And then, since by fix I mean like it just blocks out the pain or whatever it is you're going through. And of course, I struggled with this for years and years and years, just like most people are usually end up getting addicted to something. It's a quick fix. Let's be honest. It's a quick fix to what we're going through, to our uncomfortableness of life. We tend to not like pain. We don't want pain. Why do we want pain? We want to be in love with life all the time. We don't want to deal with all this ugly crap. And so I got to a point anyway where with me and my loved ones, I had to get sober. I had to sober up. I had to stop what I was doing. And so I decided I was going to go cold turkey, and I was smoking weed, drinking alcohol, taking pills, whatever. I was doing all that stuff, and so I just went cold turkey. And man, it is difficult. For those of you who are recovering addicts, who have gone such and such time without whatever it is you're addicted to, you know what I'm talking about. You get the withdrawals, and of course withdrawals range from different things depending on what it is you're addicted to, whether it's all psychological, whether it's your body is actually reacting to withdrawal, being without a certain chemical. Withdrawals just suck in general. They suck. And then you have the withdrawals, and your body's reaching a point where it's going back into equilibrium with all the pain, different things that you've gone through in your life, different things you've accumulated, especially with an addiction. Sometimes you push out people, sometimes you hurt people, so you have to deal with all that too. And so for those of you guys who have been in AA or recovery programs, addiction programs, then there's things 12 steps, 10 steps, whatever, all these different steps. So for me personally though, as far as getting over addiction, this is where the personal trainer part comes in, where the fact, or a life coach or whatever, where all these things came in, is as I went cold turkey and I went through all the crummy stuff that I had to go through, all those crummy emotions, thoughts, and I say crummy, but really we have to go through this uncomfortable emotions and thoughts in order to heal. And so I discovered exercise because it was a great way to get, and for a while it wasn't just new addiction. I just switched out old addictions for new addiction. But hey, I mean, the new addiction at least was good for me. It's helping your body, your brain grow. And so exercise is a great way. So I'm going to throw that out there right now. Exercise was my number one thing that helped me to get sober and to stay sober. And it helped me to be able to have a better view on my life. And especially once I was able to gain muscle, to eat healthy, to feel good about myself, to have more of that wholeness back, it's amazing. There's nothing that can replace that, and it's beautiful. And so we strive for wholeness, and sometimes we think that our addiction is providing us that wholeness of health and love within ourselves, but it's not. It's just a quick rush, or maybe it is in a sense, and it does give us that self-love or whatever it is for a moment, a few hours, whatever, but then it goes away. It goes away because it's our body and brain have not gone to that level of awareness, that level of consciousness, where we're able to abide in just self-love with no matter how painful different thoughts and emotions are. And so exercise helped me to steadily break out of things. I switched the old addictions for a new one, and that new one helped me. And then after a while, I still struggle sometimes, just the rush of working out, the rush of exercise. I have to exercise every day and da-da-da-da. But sometimes I catch myself and I let myself rest, and it's cool. And so, but that's another story. And so you can switch old addictions out for a new one and use that as a catalyst to help you to become more whole, to heal, to love. So another thing I've done is meditation. This is something I teach. Well, I do a lot. I integrate it a lot in my life, is mindfulness, being aware of the different emotions and thoughts going on in my head. And I integrate mindfulness into my everyday life. Every single moment I try to be aware of what is going on in my head, because it changes. And we can get sucked into it so quickly if we're not being very aware of our thoughts and the emotions. So emotions are the language of the body, how our body is communicating to our brain. Our brain has thoughts, how it communicates to the body. And our body follows the mind. And so we want to train our mind and body to be more whole without addiction, without having to rely on something else. And so for me, meditation has been my other thing that's really helped. So on top of exercise, nutrition, just eating well, feeding your body good stuff, not drinking alcohol, or, I mean, some of you do it every now and then, celebrate, that's cool, whatever, live your life. But for me personally, I just don't do that. And so for me, it was nutrition, exercise, mindfulness, and sorry, I didn't mean to flip you guys off. And those three things have been so helpful. So meditating every day, just staying aware of your thoughts, your emotions, how your body is operating, and being mindful of those temptations, the different addictions that we'll have, where even years later, I don't even smoke pot, but I'll still get the temptation to go and smoke it. And even if I do it, I'm going to take a gummy because that's just better for your lungs. But and this is just an example, but I still get the temptation to smoke it. Even though I'm a personal trainer, I don't tell people to go and put stuff in their lungs that isn't oxygen. And so there's many different ways to look at addiction to see how I want to get out of it. But for me, mindfulness has been huge. So for those of you that are recovering, or you're in the midst of an addiction right now, let's just say that. Let's say you're in the midst of addiction. Like tonight, you're going to go do whatever your vice is that gives you that rush. You're planning on it. It's part of your day. And before you get there, you don't just go and do it. There's thoughts, there's emotions, there's different things that you're also addicted to. You're addicted to certain thoughts and emotions. And whether they're painful or they're helpful or whatever, we don't realize this sometimes, but we do get addicted to our thoughts and emotions because we're comfortable in them. We're used to them. We're more comfortable being in our own thoughts in our head and our emotions than we are doing something unknown, because that's uncomfortable. We don't know what's going to happen. The unknown is the unknown. Our body can't predict it. Our brain can't predict it. And so a lot of us get hooked on certain emotions and thoughts, which also then lead to the physical addiction of whatever it is, whatever we're acting out or we're ingesting or whatever. And so I would say that most of getting over and recovering from addiction is going within and paying attention to your emotions, pay attention to your thoughts, let out suppressed emotions, cry, punch a pillow, air, a punching bag, whatever. If you're angry, if you're sad, cry. And for dudes, this is very hard because we're not trained to do this, at least not in our American society right now. We're getting better at it. I'm seeing a lot more stuff about men crying and letting out stuff, which is great, but we're not at, I do not believe that men are at the point where we can, in society, in American society, where are able to let out more suppressed emotions. And we need to get there. We need to give up the notion that that you can be a man if you never cry. That's just stupid. It's BS. And so, but anyway, besides the point, addiction, getting over addiction, is just being mindful, watching, just learning to watch, and learning to be more whole, to be healing. You want to be whole. Being whole means that you accept and love and forgive every part of yourself, including the parts that are painful. So a lot of this is forgiveness. You go, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've hurt people in my addiction, and I've given in to these things, these actions, these habits that end up hurting other people. At least most addictions do. Maybe not all of them, but I'd say most. And you learn to forgive yourself because you did not know better. You knew what was best for you, and at that moment, what you believed was best was the addiction. Now you're at a new state of awareness where if you're watching this video, you're obviously trying to recover. You have hope, and so this is a new state of awareness. Now you know there's better options for you than giving into your addiction. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope this video helps. I hope these more personal YouTube videos are very helpful to you guys, and God bless those with addiction. Addiction just sucks. The highs, rushes are great, but then the what you're dealing with afterwards, what you're dealing with deep down, knowing that you cannot survive forever like this. It's true. You need hope. You need help, and it's out there. It's here. I've been through it. I still struggle with different things, but we all go through different things. We're here to learn. We're here to love. We're here to forgive. So work on forgiving. Try and pick up better habits like exercise, nutrition, meditation. Those are all the things I do that I love to teach. And if you need a life coach, if you need a trainer, let me know. I'll put my email down below. But yeah, there's hope. There's hope for all of us. Anyway, go ahead and comment what you guys liked about this video. Maybe what are some other things that you guys have done to help you with your addiction and things you've been through. God bless you all. I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll have my email down there so you guys can email me if you need anything, if you need a trainer, coach, whatever. So we'll see you guys. Have a good one.